At 7:17 AM on the 30th of June 1908, in a remote forest near the Tunguska River in Siberia, something happened that was both unexpected and very powerful. A massive explosion, potentially 1,000 times more powerful than the atomic bombs dropped on Hiroshima and Nagasaki at the end of World War II. Our best estimates putting it between 10 and 30 megatons. This was accompanied by a flash of light so bright that people 6,000 kilometers away in London were reportedly able to read the newspaper at midnight. At Tunguska, the heat set trees on fire. Then, in an instant, a shockwave extinguished the flames, leaving nothing behind but the burnt trunks of 80 million trees, in an area of forest over 2,000 square kilometers in size. For comparison, this is that area compared to London. Or how about New York? A city-wide area, flattened. If the blast had occurred over a populated area, it would have been catastrophic. So the question is, what caused the explosion? As it happens, finding out that answer was less straightforward than you might think. Despite the scale of the event, the explosion went largely uninvestigated for over a decade. The first attempt to figure out what happened was down to this man, Leonid Kulik, a Russian mineralogist who led multiple Tunguska expeditions from 1921 to 1938. Kulik's theory was that the explosion was caused by a meteorite impact. A reasonable theory, but there was a problem. There was no crater. One solution that was put forward was that the meteorite had landed in the swamplands, which must have swallowed up any debris from the meteorite. But this idea was eventually ruled out. Later researchers would suggest that Lake Chico was the impact site, having been formed out of the crater. However, this theory was also dropped in light of evidence of the lake predating the event. Over the years, more and more theories have been put forward, some more feasible than others. Maybe it was an icy comet that has since evaporated away. Alternatively, some have suggested that Nikola Tesla was behind the event, accidentally causing the explosion from some failed experiment. One idea that was suggested early on was that the explosion could have been the result of a huge natural gas leak. However, this doesn't account for the bright flash of light. So, what did cause the explosion? Interestingly, Kulik wasn't massively far off. Chemical analysis of soil and rock samples from the area have revealed certain traces of nickel and lonsdaleite, which are indicative of meteoric rock. Today, we're pretty sure what happened at Tunguska was an example of an airburst, when a meteoroid enters the atmosphere without totally burning up, but then explodes before reaching the surface. A smaller example of this made headlines in 2013. The Chelyabinsk meteor exploded in an airburst over the south of the Ural region, also in Russia, and managed to be filmed on numerous car dashcams. To give you a sense of scale, this is the size of the Chelyabinsk meteor, and this is the estimated size of the one at Tunguska. It's fortunate that the Tunguska meteor blew up over a remote Siberian forest. Reportedly, only 3 people died, but if the meteor's velocity was changed even a little bit, or if it reached Earth a few seconds earlier, or a moment later, it could have exploded hundreds of miles away, and the story could have had a very different ending. Which happens to be the concept behind NASA's DART missions. It's possible to nudge incoming asteroids onto a different trajectory, so with enough warning, future Tunguska events could potentially be preventable. Different figures get floated around for how regularly these things tend to occur, which then leads some people to declare that we're overdue for certain natural events. But that's not how it works. Natural disasters don't follow a schedule. And just because we can work out how often something appears to happen, doesn't mean we can use that to predict when the next is going to be. It's less about timing and more about the environmental conditions. But either way, Tunguska acts as a sobering reminder of just how small we really are.